Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there's 124 days until Christmas 2024. And we are moving right along towards autumn. It's right ahead of us. I see some friends in the chat. Nerd Mafia, Matt Risman. There he is. Matt Risman, up to his normal shenanigans. Good to see you, my friend. Fitz here in the chat. And this guy here, you know, this guy here has been around forever. And he's a good friend of the channel, a regular here, a rural farm boy. He's got a new handle. He goes by Imperial Activity now on YouTube. Just changed his handle up a little bit. Good to see RFB or IA. How do we do that? So good to see you. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining. Jedi Mike here is in the back room as well. Today it was a community call-in stream. This is a chance where you get to express yourself, get to share your thoughts and opinions on Star Wars. Yeah, and Mike Porter, I know I didn't give Mike Porter a heads up. I didn't tell him, hey, I need I need a dad joke for today. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you last minute, Mike, but we can cover your dad joke anyway. Yeah, and Nerd Mafia, this guy, he was traveling and he was close enough that he made a trip right over here to Ohio, Northern Ohio. We met up there near a place called Medina, Ohio. In fact, we met there. We had lunch together. We got to hang out, talk. We went into a toy store, looked at some collectibles. He got to meet my wife, and we had just a wonderful, wonderful visit. Took a picture there at Castle Noel, which is a cool place to go if you're ever in northeastern Ohio. Yeah, it's got all kinds of Christmas memorabilia, including the RV from Christmas Vacation, Uncle Eddie's RV. We took a picture right in front of that. That was fantastic. Had a great time doing that. Where did Luke go immediately after his encounter with Vader on Bespin? Well, to the secondhand store. Brian Stone with a good dad joke in there. Secondhand store. Kanshu, thank you so much for the super chat. Wow. What a wonderful gift to the channel. Thank you so much. Today is a chance to celebrate all of you, and I appreciate your support. This is just fantastic. Thank you for that. You guys, there's some other news I want to cover. So, you know, every Friday we try to do a Star Wars weekly news roundup. So tomorrow we'll talk about some of the other news. Bespin Bulletins posted some things. There's other news going about. And as you know, I have a Patreon channel where we try to get folks to some extra Star Wars content over there. You know, when the news is slow, when there's no Star Wars show, where can you go get additional Star Wars content? You can go over to Patreon. And Patreon's really the best place to support any content creator that you follow, because Patreon is content creator friendly. There, they allow you to be you, and they allow your supporters to support you in the most meaningful way. So I try to return that gift by giving you lots of extra content. And I've been chatting with a fella lately, and some of you may know him, some of you may not. Uh, John Justice. If you guys have ever heard of John Justice uh, with My Nerd World, John Justice does a regular podcast, and I listen to his Star Wars content especially. But he's also an author, and John Justice has a series of books. There's 7 of them in total. Embark, and I have started reading those. And I'm going to talk to John about his book, and we're going to talk about Star Wars. And this is going to be exclusive Patreon content here for the first at least week. I may go ahead and post it to YouTube after the fact. John is going to post it to My Nerd World. If you follow him there, you'll be able to catch part of the interview on his channel and on his podcast. So if you follow John Justice, My Nerd World, and check out his book series, Embark series, we're going to talk about some of that as well. All right. So that's what's coming up. That's what's coming up. You know what's not coming up? Acolyte season 2. That's what. KG, good to see you. Very good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. And I want to share this. This has been making its way, but I want to share something with you guys that is somewhat telling. If you go to the Disney store, right, and you're just searching for stuff, they've got this neat little widget in here, right? If I hit search, and they've got some recent search terms in here, but they also have trending search terms. And if you click on Star Wars, for example, right? Star Wars comes up, like, oh yeah, I'm interested in Star Wars. What do you got? And then look here, they've got movie or show. Is there something specific to a movie or show you would like to see? And then John Cena, can you see me, Santa? I can see you, John. But there you go. If you go under movie or show and open that up, you'll see it says Marvel and Star Wars. If you open the Star Wars one up, this is an interesting bit. You're interested in Star Wars? Of course, KG. But under Star Wars here, you can see all these different shows, right? Here's Star Wars, just general. There's 3 products there. Ahsoka, Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's a show. That's a show. The Bad Batch. That's another show. Book of Boba Fett. Oh, there's another show. Empire Strikes Back. There's a movie. Force Awakens movie. Last Jedi movie. Mandalorian. There's a show. Rise of Skywalker, a show. Young Jedi Adventures. There's another show. Star Wars Classic. There's just a great big bucket. Hey, Tori, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Star Wars Rebels. Only 2 items there, but there you have it. And then The Mandalorian. Well, we got The Mandalorian up here. Star Wars Mandalorian down here. There's lots of things that are not listed, right? Lots of things not listed. You can see that they've got the sequel movies in here, right? We got Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Those are right there. We don't, and there's Empire Strikes Back. Where's Return of the Jedi? No Return of the Jedi in here? None of that. Where's the Phantom Menace? Where's Revenge of the Sith? Come on now. There's a lot of things not in here. But as best I can see, there's only one prominent show not listed, right? There's no, sweeping that under the rug. There's no Acolyte at all, right? So there's no Acolyte. Yeah, as KG says, there's no Andor either. Where's Andor in the list? It's not there. So while this story is making its way around, prominent me an overstatement. Come on, give me a little slack, Matt. Yeah, there's a lot of things not listed. And that's my point, right? There's a lot of things not listed. And we didn't get too worked over that, but it is a little bit concerning considering that they didn't renew it for season 2. And now people are wondering, is it going to get pulled off of Disney Plus? And what makes this a bit more of a story is there were a handful of items available, right? There was some merch in the store, and now the merch is not in the store. So something that was there and is now not there. Yeah, KG says, are the prequels under the classics banner? I'm sure if we let's bring it back up and search. And if I just did let's just search here. It says search movies and shows. If I put in Revenge of the Sith and search for Revenge of the Sith, right? It comes up with nothing. Also, if I just go up here and in Star Wars, I just put Revenge of the Sith. Oh, no results found for Revenge of the Sith. Oh, I'm sad. What if we search here for what is this we're doing that? Let's go ahead and search for Andor, right? Andor. Oh, no results for Andor either. So I wouldn't get too worked up over this, right? I would not get too like crazy over this not having Acolyte stuff. But again, the concern is, might they do to it, the Acolyte, what they did to Willow? You know, Willow was a Disney Plus show, and then it's yeah, they're pulling Revenge of the Sith off Disney Plus. Confirmed. What Santa did the search on the Disney store, and it's not there. That means it's been canceled. Revenge of the Sith canceled. I should have put that. I should have put that in a thumbnail. Dadgummit. You know, I just don't know how to do thumbnails, do I? So I need to have the red eyes, you know, the glowy eyes and the laser beams coming out. The concern again is that maybe they would do more, that they would pull Acolyte entirely off the platform, that they would maybe decanonize the Acolyte. And you know what's going on right now is people are grieving, people are upset, people are angry, right? People are just like losing their minds because they love the Acolyte, and now the Acolyte's not getting a second season. I would say, and Meg pointed it out today, Meg is such a gift to everybody. Star Wars Meg, she is a gift to this community. I've said it before, but she posted today that if you just watch, right, you just watch, there's a lot of things kind of being de-escalated off of Disney Plus, and Star Wars live action is one of those. We have Skeleton Crew, which was filmed alongside of Ahsoka season 1, right? Those are filmed at the same time, you guys. They're kind of across the parking lot from each other, but these shows were filmed at the same time. Ahsoka came out. Skeleton Crew's been done. It's been in post-production for a long time. It's been finished. The other thing is Andor season 2. Now, Andor season 2, it kind of ran into some little road bumps and hurdles there as we got into the pandemic, and they had to shut down. Or that wasn't pandemic. It was the writer strike, right? It was the Hollywood strikes. They got shut down for a while, and then once all that got worked out, they came back up. So all that's been good. Then we have the other series is Ahsoka season 2, which is still being written. Everything is not even filming yet. So we have 2024 Skeleton Crew, 2025 Andor season 2, which was originally 5 seasons, and then it was cut back quickly to 2 as they started scoping it out and budgeting it. Then we have Ahsoka season 2, 24, 25, 2026. Following 2026, we don't have anything announced. I posted it on Twitter the other day, and my friend Lunga replied back and said, "Oh, they're not." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "No, I didn't say that they weren't going to have any more shows. I'm saying there are no more listed, right? We may not see another live action Star Wars show for some time because that's moving into theatrical releases, and that's not a bad thing. We shouldn't be mad about that at all. The folks who are mad are the folks who are really, really enthusiastic about the Acolyte. And I liked it, and oh, good. Mike Porter came up with a dad joke, a Star Wars dad joke that we can use today. So we're going to front load the dad joke. Here you guys go. You ready for the Mike Porter dad joke? We're going to do it right here at the beginning, so I don't lose it in the chat. He says, "What's the name for the rebel that doesn't have direction or purpose?" Oh, he's a rebel. He doesn't have direction or purpose. His name is Randor. Mike, I love it. Randor. Very good, Mike. So look, we're going to lose some live action shows. And I don't know that it is as much about canceling something as it's not renewing it. And that's been pointed out. We know Leslie Headland was working on a season 2, maybe 3 or 4. I would enjoy them. I enjoyed the Acolyte season 1. I would have enjoyed more. I wouldn't say it's perfect. I have my arguments about it, but it wasn't my favorite show. But boy, I had fun. I had a lot of fun watching it, and there were some things set up there that I would love to see come to fruition. There's some other things in there that I did not love, and would be perfectly happy to let those continue on in another form. And Matt Risman put it well earlier, and this is one of the things we want to talk about just a little bit. We want to talk about there's the story can still be continued, right? There's Acolyte related comics and novels coming out. They announced them at D23. There'll be more of that coming up in Celebration, and those will be able to be expanded, much like they did with the Clone Wars season 7. There were some untold story arcs there that made their way into novels and comics that still haven't been made into animation. So they absolutely can continue the story in comics and novels. And you follow the channel, the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It's not one that the Jedi would tell you, nor is it one that the book titled Plagueis would tell you, right? It's a story about Palpatine more than it is about Plagueis. I mean, he's a side character in the book. I mean, he's certainly, hanging around when he's not doing his little flash thing and running at supersonic speed across planets and, just to be in a blur, a faint phantom that you saw pass by. What was that? When he's not just, speed walking around places, using force speed there to get from point A to point B. When he's not doing that, he's just kind of lurking about. He's a side character. He's not even a main character in the book. I would love for them to follow this story. And by the way, Plagueis is now part of the Legends collection. But I would love for them to follow up and maybe release another book called Darth Plagueis the Wise. Right? That's a new title. You could name the book Darth Plagueis the Wise and make the book about him. That'd be cool because it's not one that we've ever seen before. And if you've read the book, you know what I mean. Or if you follow me on Patreon, I've covered the book on there. I've read it a few times. I know too much about that book, and I'm happy to not read it again. I'd be happy to read the story of Darth Plagueis should they ever release it. Andor's numbers will definitely be a lot better. I think so too. Same with Ahsoka season 2. I think those numbers will be much better as well. Um, yeah, I'm just going to miss Star Wars live action shows. And you know what I'm here today for is this call in. One thing we do for our YouTube members and our Patreon supporters, from time to time, we have these community streams. And if you are one of our patrons, if you're one of our uh, uh, YouTube members, then you can join today's show. I have posted the link in YouTube. You can find it there. I've posted the link in Patreon. You can find it there. And I've posted the link in our Discord, which is a great place to follow this channel. You follow us on Discord, you can get all kind of, we're on there every day talking about something. And so you join in all those places. You can join today's call right here. You can come in today and we could talk about the Acolyte. What is it that you are going to, that you're feeling? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Or you feel disappointed? You feel let down? You feel betrayed? Right? I'm seeing all of these kind of reactions online. Seeing all kinds of people really, really upset and dealing with their grief, dealing with their emotion, and that's expressing its way in both healthy and unhealthy ways. This community as a whole seem to be battling each other. And I think what we all want is just really good Star Wars. And whether you have found the Acolyte to be really good Star Wars or not, what you don't want to see is the Star Wars you love bashed by anybody else. And when somebody says, "Oh, I'm absolutely crushed over this Acolyte series not being renewed," give them a little space. They're dealing with the grief. Don't be like, "Ha ha, you're a loser," right? That's not healthy. Or if somebody is celebrating Acolyte, that was absolutely terrible. Hated it so much. I am glad that it's gone. Have a little patience, right? Understand that we're all Star Wars fans. And Fitz, I hear Meg saying the Acolyte could suffer the same fate as Willow. I don't think that will be the case. We'll find out over time. We'll let it play itself out. But let's just see. Let's just see. Yeah. As Matt said, to be fair, the only Acolyte Disney content created content was a couple of generic T-shirts. Yeah, we had that. I'm getting caught up with the chat here. So what we want to do is let people express their thoughts. And some other things have happened. I got frustrated as well. I've said some things that I think were a little over the line, a little too accusational towards other Star Wars fans. And it's unfair, right? I saw Star Wars Theory posted an apology today. It was quite a lengthy apology. Sometimes we get caught up in our emotions. Sometimes it's just, the heat of the moment and we get caught up in that. Try to calm down, right? Try to allow people some space to deal with their grief. And we all deal with it differently. Just got to be patient with others. You can't judge them because they're grieving differently than you are, or they're reacting to the news differently than you are. We just want to let people come in here. If you would like to join and talk about your thoughts about this announcement, what's going on, and we'll take it from there. All right. So let me just get caught up on the chat. I'm scrolling through here, and we're going to bring in Jedi Mike. He's in the backstage, and we'll let Mike get the first word in. Again, if any of you want to join today's discussion, you can find the link in those places I mentioned. Find it on YouTube, find it in Patreon, and find it on Discord. And we're getting ready to post some more Patreon exclusive content. So be sure, if you can, come over to Patreon, join us there. And I will do my best to get more content posted more frequently. But that's a great place to support the channel. All right, Mike, my friend, thank you for being patient. I've gibbered and jabbered and I've talked for a long time. What are your thoughts about this announcement of Acolyte not being released, being canceled?
Well, I am a little sad because I thought it wasn't as, toxic and disrespectful to canon or anything. I know the High Republic, and so I was kind of ready for stuff. But like I'm still grieving over Kenobi. Like that's the thing. Like it didn't do what Kenobi did to Kenobi. So like that's for me. I always find things like Love and Thunder, like movies that don't hit, but there are still 8s. And Acolyte was a good show, but it didn't hit. And it's not as exciting as Ahsoka. So I guess because I know that we have more space for more stories to come, like you were saying in your intro, the grief is a little bit easier today.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Yeah, we have a High Republic book being released just next week, right? So for those of us who are into the novels and into the High Republic, there's more content coming there. We're also coming up very close to a new game being released, coming up on the Lego special, animated special being released. And then, of course, just down the road, not too far away, especially in the scope of things, Skeleton Crew.
Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's going to be great. We've got a lot of things to look forward to while we can deal with the grief of it, right? The sadness, whatever it is you're feeling, or joy, right? There are people who are absolutely thrilled to death that we're moving past the Acolyte.
Well, I'm me, so I'm going for the jokes. I'm feeling blue, but I'm also in LA, so I got my #1 fan thing for Santa. I'm giving you the finger for Meg.
Fantastic.
But speaking of Blue and Meg, there is little bits of joy, like in Nubs and season 2. I'm a fan of StarWarsKids.com because they've kept like the Rebels Recon, StarWars.com joy alive a little bit. Like the little Jedi Academy stuff and the things that they try to do with StarWarsKids.com gives me always hope. So little Nubs and Meg's videos have been slapping. So that's
yes.
That's the other side of the Acolyte right now.
Yeah. So with the Young Jedi Adventures, have you watched season 2 yet?
I have, and a little bit of Meg's recap really helps me too, because then she brings in the lore, and that I need that, right? As a busy dad and all the stories that you're trying to keep up with.
There's a fantastic droid pirate in season 2 that I absolutely love. I mean, he's the most pirate of pirates. He's a corny. He sounds like a pirate. He looks like he's got the kind of dread hair hanging down. He's got the pirate hat on. He is just the best pirate ever. It's a ton of fun. It's a really fun show. Again, it's not.
It's like Spidey. It's just Spidey and his amazing friends version of like Star Wars. And I've got a kinder, right? What we say here stays here. Like they love that type of stuff, and it's fun Star Wars. And I'm about fun and not being down. I'm trying to be in the middle.
Yeah. Saber Smith says, I think the fandom needs something fun right now. And I agree. Fun is something maybe more lighthearted, and to look at Star Wars, especially when it comes to Disney Plus Star Wars, a little less seriously. And he said, Santa should do a reaction to Captain EO. That might be fun. It might be fun to do that. The other thing is Matt Risman put, he says, he called Lucasfilm and ensured Skeleton Crew will be canceled before it gets a season 2. That's another fun discussion. Will Skeleton Crew get a season 2? Or will even Ahsoka get a season 3? We don't know. We really don't know if there will be more live action Star Wars following Ahsoka season 2. And Skeleton Crew has some trepidation, right? Because these are kid actors and they're fun story. And some people are looking for the more serious side of things. And you have to remember, for some people, Star Wars is the Skywalkers. And when I say the Skywalkers, they mean Luke and Anakin. The end, right? and that's fine if that's your jam. It's prequel OT Star Wars is your Star Wars. That's great. Skeleton Crew is probably not going to be for you. It's Mandoverse era. It's going to be a little less serious, but I expect it to be fun, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. What are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, looking forward to Skeleton Crew. I wonder like about the toys and what the rollout's going to be like. Like your Christmas time toys, kids. It's Disney Plus content, so a lot of that goes by me. Like a lot of that middle grades content, there's so much of it on Disney Plus that I feel like, I don't know. I think the pacing will be slow and the acting will be taken apart, and we're going to get what we get with Skeleton Crew.
I'm doing a poll here.
Cool.
What's Yoda's quote? The future hard to see. The future is, right. There we go. All right, I put a poll. When do you all think the next live action Disney Plus Star Wars show will be? Will we get one, not counting what we know, right? Skeleton Crew, Andor season 2, Ahsoka season 2, not counting those. Following Ahsoka season 2, when, not what, when do you think the next live action Star Wars show series will fall on Disney Plus? Will release on Disney Plus. So there you go for the chat. What do you all think? When is the next one going to be released? 2026 with Ahsoka. So let's say Ahsoka comes out first half of the year. Well, another show come out in the second half of the year, similar as we had with Acolyte and now Skeleton Crew. Or will it be 2027? One a year. 2026, Ahsoka 2, 2027, Skeleton Crew 2. Something to think about with that is these kids that are featured in the show. Remember, it filmed alongside Ahsoka. They're already a couple years older, and kids age pretty quickly. Would a Skeleton Crew 2 even be a Skeleton Crew 2? Right? They're going to be grown. I've seen people talk about it being similar to Harry Potter. Right? Those kids grew up. Well, there's a big time jump here. Right? More than we had between Harry Potter movies. This is a bigger time jump. The other thing to consider is people put out Stranger Things. Right? We saw kids grow up in that. Again, that's a bigger time jump. So would it even be Skeleton Crew 2 or something entirely different? Or 2028? Or maybe it's even further on beyond that.
Something that we've talked about before and we talk about in the Discord is the parallel to the way Marvel takes things on Disney Plus, and I was going to mention that earlier, part of your intro. You know, they might take Acolyte off Disney Plus for a while. I don't know if they did that with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, I don't know why they promote certain things and take them off and don't. Maybe it's intellectual property rights and the way people are getting paid. It's too much for me.
Well, there's a few reasons things come on and off of platforms. The Harry Potter movies are a really good example because they'll make their way over to Netflix, and they'll make their way over to Paramount Plus, and they'll make their way over to HBO Max or Max or whatever. Right? These keep showing up on different platforms all the time. They show up on some cable channels. Right? It has to do with licensing and them selling the rights to show things. And it's something that I've wondered about, like with Mandalorian season 1, right? Mandalorian season 2. Would Disney Plus ever license that out to, say, Netflix or Max or something to show the entire season on another platform? You take it off of Disney Plus for the time period that you license it out. If they don't keep it in-house, like on ABC or Hulu, right? If they let it go to another studio for a period of time, they charge them tons of money to do it. That would make something come off a platform. So you see movies do that all the time. They come on and off of platforms. You see it with some series where they'll go back and forth. We haven't seen that with Disney Plus yet.
But again, I can't tell. It's on Hulu. It's on Disney Plus. I don't even know.
Right.
But the other day you were talking about the Hulu button within Disney Plus, and I was just like, all right, I need to go pray about technology.
Mike, you're younger than me, so you have no excuses. And you've got younger kids than me too, so your kids could show you, Dad, this is how you find it. But anyway,
on the remote.
Yeah, they haven't done that with Willow yet. And they deplatformed Willow, and the concern is they might do that with Acolyte. If they deplatform it, now with Willow, the understanding is they took it off of Disney Plus because of budget. Right? It wasn't getting enough views, and they were going to have to pay for residuals, things like that, to writers, directors, actors, so on and so forth. They'll all get monthly paychecks as long as the thing is streaming.
Well, I'm talking about the old model. Like, you see it now with other Disney shows or Pixar things. Like, I think they take certain things off and then they come back and they put it in a collection because they want to promote it tied to another thing. They used to do that when you would buy DVDs and stuff at home, right? Oh, a special edition of Bambi. They take it off the market for a long time. So again, maybe they're taking Willow off forever. Maybe it'll appease people to take Acolyte off, but then they'll bring it back for other High Republic things, maybe.
You make a good point. Disney used to do that all the time.
Right. There's the people that love looking at content in different, like, chronological orders, and there's the people that love opening the Star Wars publishing and looking at the timeline and thinking about the canon. And then there's the people that don't, and that's why we're in the middle. I can't do the trivia, but I love talking about the speculation town.
Well, Rob St. Clair made a really good point here. If they did like a 4K steelbook of the Acolyte, they should do that with Willow. Maybe don't sell a lot, but the fans who enjoy it, fans who want to collect it, would have that available, and they deplatform it for a while. As you brought up, they used to do that all the time, right? All the time. Disney was when we were younger, they would put it in the vault. They would say, right? You have 2 months to buy this VHS before it goes back in the vault. You got 2 months to watch this at the theater before it goes back in the vault, right?
And that's why, let me get to another thing of hope. Mando and Grogu, the thing that's going to be at Batu, that was announced at D23. Little things like that give me hope.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's lots of other things coming up. As we mentioned, there's the High Republic novel coming out next week. There's more publishing coming along. There are other books outside of that. There's Acolyte books and comics coming out. There's going to be additional publishing content around different eras in Star Wars, whatever it is that interests you. Skeleton Crew's coming. Animation, we mentioned that. There's some more animation that hasn't been announced yet that we're kind of anxious to hear. We have some rumors, some
We
leaks.
just got to keep listening for Bespin. Somebody will find out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll keep in touch with our friend Bespin of Bulletins. And Matt Risman just sent me a thing. Says, speaking of animation.
What a great mod, by the way. Matt is the best mod.
He's fantastic. He is. He's also a bit of a turd. I mean, but that's who's not.
When you curate the Discord that well, you get a little bit of leniency in the Star Wars fandom.
He's awesome. He's awesome. But so he sent me a thing. This looks like Twitter. It says the worry here is that Lucasfilm or Disney overlords may be more hesitant to move ahead with original Star Wars stories down the line. I think that's true when it comes to live action because there's a budget thing. They've got to figure out. And one thing we have not had real clear insight to is something people complain about all the time is we don't have true viewership numbers, right? They all keep that behind the black curtain. Nobody can see.
That's why the Forbes thing that you posted today, I am skeptical with a small s, but like the Forbes thing is corporate espionage. Like they want to make ABC Disney numbers look a certain way, I think. But man, I'm so naive. That's why I just try to stay in the middle.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And to know how they measure ROI on a thing that streams, right? They're bringing in billions of dollars a month, billions a month, but yet still losing money. Disney Plus is right at a break even when you include the bundle with ESPN and Hulu, right? And they still have a big paycheck or a big check to write to pay for the rest of Hulu. But with all of that, it helps with the monthly revenue, but the expenditures are still high. And how do you measure ROI when people aren't buying a ticket to go see your thing, right? So when these movies release, theatrical movies, whether they're live action or as Sony has done with some animation, right? Those Spider-Man multiverse animated movies have been fire, right? So what they could do with animated movies, with live action movies, you sell tickets, right? And then you get an idea what your ROI is on that. If you can keep the budget low enough, there it is. But on streaming service, what is the ROI when people are paying the subscription and you release something new? How do you quarter off what the new thing is based off of views? And then based off of views, we can't see the real numbers. So we don't know how they measure if a thing was successful or not. And people have been frustrated at Netflix for years for killing things that people see as popular. And they're just like, well, not popular enough. And then they renew things that people don't perceive as popular. And they're like, give it 3 more seasons. It's just tough to understand.
This just makes me think of my total Hollywood bias. I'm out here by the El Capitan Theater, right? And I think Disney should acquire AMC Studio, like for the real estate and like for all the like every AMC could have props and be interactive with more stuff. And you could drop Disney animation and like Deadpool like worked. Like they just need, I don't know how Lucasfilm cannot follow these good models that seem to work. But Fanjecture thinks I'm nuts. Like thinks that buying a theater chain is like the worst thing you could possibly do for Disney. But
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to I'd have to put more brain cells to that, and I just haven't. So just to keep going with this tweet, there's a response on here from in the tweet that Matt sent me from a Joel Aaron. And Joel said the best part of Star Wars for me was when I was a kid. That's why my intro music is what it is, right?
That intro music is just gets to you every time.
Thank you. It's the words, the lyrics to it are spot on. And when it comes to like Star Wars, it's perfect. It says the best part was when I was a kid, was not knowing what was coming next and feeling the joy of that wait. This is why I've been working at Lucasfilm for 35 years. Oh, we have a Lucasfilm employee who's been there for 35 years. Says, don't stay annoyed and trust that we have the torch that GW, George Lucas, gave to Filoni and our teams. So that's good to hear. That's reassuring to hear. And I know a lot of people are like George Lucas loyalists. I don't put myself in that camp. I fell in love with Star Wars because of George Lucas, but that man made me crazy too. So it's there's a mix. So for some people that trust, that bridge has been burned. They just don't have the trust anymore. For others of us, we're like, yeah, I can wait for the next thing, right?
Well, how many times have we talked about what we did to ourselves during the prequels, right? Like we flamed ourselves up on the internet because we were the first people to really be on the internet doing that stuff. Like,
yeah, well, and
that was episode 1. Like that was making Star Wars that at the very beginning. That was the beginning of the internet.
Yeah, and the biggest thing we did when we got that upset is we just quit consuming. Right, it's an easy way to do it, right? Like, I'm not reading those stupid books because I didn't like the stupid movie, or I'm reading all those things because I love that thing, or I'm going to go buy all the toys. And that's another thing that has just changed culturally. It's toys, collectibles. Yeah, they're more for folks like us than they are for the kids. And trust me, I see these kids every year, and I sit with hundreds of them, thousands of them, and I ask them, what do you want for Christmas? And of the thousands of kids who ask for things for Christmas, I can count less than dozens who ask for traditional toys like we would think of. Action figure. Yeah. You get tons of requests for Barbies, tons of requests for Lego, plenty of requests for Ninjago and, different things like Beyblades. Beyblades are really popular. All kinds of things like that. Pokemon, really popular. But more popular than those even are video games, right? Video game based things. They like Minecraft stuff. They like, things like that. So
yeah, the Skywalker Saga, the Lego, that's the last Steelbook thing that we got, or the special edition that the kids got, was the Lego Star Wars for Switch. I think Jason plays Switch. I mean, Meg loves it. Like you said, the new world between worlds, like the joy of young Star Wars is being opened up by making fun of itself in those Lego Star Wars thing that's coming out. Rebuild the galaxy, like rebuild our hearts. Like, I don't know. And I feel like all the pushback, people are excited that KK might leave, right? She's going to get the Disney Legend stuff at Star Wars Celebration 2025, the way certain people got walked off the stage, then the next person gets brought on the stage, like that's what people have those big trade shows and things to do, is to celebrate and move on to the next thing.
Yeah. And that's, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mike, because one of the things we want to help with today is to help people start turning the page. Okay, and I bring this up.
Oh my.
Hold on. I disappeared.
I don't know if we lost the whole stream.
Hold on. We're back.
Yeah, we did. Hey,
Bespin's in the chat.
Yes.
So, I co-pastored a Southern Baptist church for a while. In part of that is I had to deal with some funerals, right? I had to officiate a funeral. And when you are involved with that business, and I'm sure people who are in the funeral home business see it even more, people deal with the grief differently. And everybody knows about the 5 stages of grief, but we all move through it at different paces. And some of us experience different phases of it stronger than others. And what I'm seeing on YouTube now, in this, or not YouTube, in Twitter, social media, are fans just blasting other fans. I mentioned it at the very, very beginning of the show. It's just, it's frustrating and it's sad, right? As human beings, that we can't have more compassion for one another and allow somebody who's dealing with the grief, frustration, anger of the loss work themselves through it. There's a GoFundMe now, right? Like no, not a GoFundMe. What is it? It's a petition, like a change.org kind of thing.
Okay.
Of renew the Acolyte, right? And now people have started an opposing one of keep it canceled, right? And I want to see how many people can back each one. Look, let them grieve. Let them work their way through it. You want to sign a petition as part of your grieving, like you feel like you've taken action, go ahead. That's fine. Work yourself through it. And people are allowed to love the things that you hate, and they're allowed to hate the things you love. So just give them that space. That's all. Right? Santa officiating a funeral. Well, I didn't do it as Santa, but I look like what I look like. So you can imagine that. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The counter petition. Yeah. So there's all that. What else, Mike? Did we leave anything out?
Well, what else do we think is coming at Star Wars Celebration? I mean, the Mando and Grogu trailer. Is that what we think might be coming? We'll have animation segments and comic book segments, and it's a big trade show, and it's a whole thing with Tokyo too. So are we going to get more of the Studio Ghibli? Is that how I say it correctly? Right? There's so much energy in anime and Filoni and the Avatar Last Airbender thing and the world between worlds. Like, I know I'm cynical with a small c again about how it might become 6 colors. The Force is now 6 things like Magic the Gathering, or I don't know how Magic the Gathering really works even, right? Or how Pokemon cards work, but Star Wars is going to be open space, like open code. I feel like the Force is different for everybody's perspective. And so Star Wars Celebration has a lot of potential, I guess.
I like how you kind of throw the softball up there to see what bait I'll take. Because you were on the members call Monday, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, good thing I have old brain syndrome. Like, I can forget that stuff. But what we say in the members call stays there. So
that's right. So Bespin brought up a couple points. First of all, I ended the poll. Most people said 2027. So we'll get 1 live action per year. So following Ahsoka season 2 in 2026, we would get another live action in 2027. Second was, it's hard to see, hard to know what's after 2026, right? And I think I would fall into that category. And then Bespin just, he posted about Kathleen maybe retiring. It'd be after a movie. Let's see, where was that? Where was I got to find Bespin's post on that? The chat. I lost it. Bespin.
I don't know.
Where is it?
Saying something about the Godzilla -1 director.
I saw that.
They bring in young new director to Celebration.
He said, oh shoot, now I lost it again. Let me go back up. I looked at the
Either
wrong
way,
screen.
Bespin and making Star Wars is journalism, everybody.
Yeah. Bespin said she'll probably leave once a movie gets through the door. And we have a series of movies in the pipeline. You mentioned Celebration. I think the D23, they kept the focus on Skeleton Crew because that's what's coming up. But then Celebration's coming up in just a few months, next spring. And there's where we expect to get an update, say, on the Ray movie. Where is that going? The Sean Levy movie. Get that announced. Like what's coming on? What is that going to be about? There's like 4 or 5 movies in the pipeline. Dave hasn't even started writing his movie yet. He's still writing Ahsoka. And we saw some of the news today that Dave co-wrote the Mando Grogu movie with John. Right. So it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. And then as Bespin posted in the chat, I feel like they'll announce the Godzilla -1 director will direct a Star Wars movie at that event. Whoa. Bessie, that is
Bessie.
fire. Well, think about the stars aligning for that. Celebrations in Japan. Godzilla -1. He's Japanese director. They flew him out to California to spend a weekend with him, talk about his process. They've been kind of flirting with this guy already. How awesome would it be to get announced he's going to do a Star Wars movie? And it starts to lead to some speculation, right? This is all speculation town here.
Yeah.
What would he direct? Would it be a monster flick in Star Wars? I doubt it, right? There's no like.
No, we'd have to look at the rest of his history of catalog of stuff. But I would, man, I can't get Rogue Squadron out of my head. Ugh.
Well, they could dust that off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Matt says, I hope she doesn't stay until May 2026. Matt, I don't know. Go take some copium. Walk up to the copium bar and order yourself a couple shots.
Oh, poor Ray.
You're gonna need a couple of copium shots from the bartender. You might as well. We should have a copium bar. Somebody needs to have that. Like I need a shot of copium, right? Like,
Well,
not like an injection, but like a shot.
When I worked at Tower Records on Sunset Strip, they had the Woody Harrelson had an oxygen bar across the street. That's kind of what we need, right? We just need to breathe. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. Filoni loves him and -1. Yes. I think he's been there at the offices more than once. The synergy at Celebration would be electric. Agreed, Bespin. Absolutely agreed. You know what? If I was
Filoni came out to do the part at D23 about the Mando and Grogu addition to Smuggler's Run. So
okay.
that's
Matt,
cool.
I need you to do me a favor. Because I don't really do the merch stuff very well. I don't play that. I don't have different merch thing, but I know our friends over at EBN, they come up with different merch all the time. We need, and I'll buy one from EBN if they'll make it. I need them to sell some copium shot glasses. I just need some copium. Right, it needs to be a little shot glass that says copium on it. You could put a little, logo or something. Somebody draw that up. I should get Baymax to do that for us. Draw up a copium logo
On tomorrow's thumbnail with the Star Wars news.
Yeah, we need a copium shot glass, right? Because who doesn't need a little copium from time to time, right? It's been a rough day. You got some really bad news. What do you need? You need a shot of copium. And get your, come on now. I have to have one of those. Matt thinks it needs to be a much bigger glass.
A pint.
Yeah.
EBN only pints.
Yeah, you need to get what are those big mugs with the lids on them that they have like in Germany?
Stein. The
Yes, a
ATM
Stein.
Stein.
We need a copium Stein.
I honestly think Star Wars Theory was going to do a Stein at some point. That was recommended. That's like ages ago.
I need a copium Stein. That would just be great. Especially with my beard, right? You drink it and then you got it like, how fantastic would that be?
Yeah, I mean, the green milk right there in Batu, a little foam on your beard.
Copium, a little copium foam after drinking from this copium Stein. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, liquid copium. What fan of any franchise doesn't need a copium Stein or shot glass, whatever? Oh my goodness, Mike, thanks for hanging out.
Oh yeah, I love these call-ins. When they work out, sometimes it's super busy. We're getting ready for Mary Poppins and stuff next, so life is good and busy. It helps make. Oh, we're going to turn the page on the Acolyte easier.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to be able to turn the page, move forward, and get excited about the next thing coming up. Allow people to grieve if that's what they're doing, and then get excited about the next thing. As I mentioned, I've got an interview coming with John Justice with My Nerd World. He's an author. He's a radio host, and he's a writer, and he did the audiobook of his novel as well. So there's 7 of them in the series. I'm on number 2. And just to give you guys a little clue about that, because we're in between Star Wars here, right? So look up John Justice Embark series. There's 7 books. You can get it on Kindle Unlimited. It's there. And the book starts like here on Earth. And you ever heard of the Yellowstone volcanic risk? Like if that thing blows up, it could like take out the whole planet.
Yeah, of course. Pyroclastic volcanic blasts are not the best.
No, not. So that's part of the story. Plus, they have flying cars, so they've kind of moved past the roadways and stuff, and everybody flies from point to point. I'm gonna do an interview with John about his book, and we're gonna talk about Star Wars. He's a huge Star Wars fan, and we're gonna do that interview. We're gonna post it on Patreon when we do it. I got a message from him as the show was starting. We were going to try to do the interview today, but he's busy. He's got his radio work to do, and
you got your notes and questions ready. One thing to ask him is, what does he think about Star Wars Suburbia and flying people in Suburbia in the Skeleton Crew? That might be a good correlation. It just came to me. I'm right in the middle.
Fantastic, Mike. I will bring that up because that is part of his book. People flying in like Scottsdale, Arizona. Right? Perfect question. All right. Well, hope to see you all tomorrow. Mike, once again, thanks for hanging out with me here today. If you want to hang out, we can talk a little bit after the show. But you got to go. It's up to you. For everybody else, thanks for hanging out with us here today. I can't wait to talk to you all maybe tomorrow about the Star Wars news of the week. And until then, my friends, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you always. Bye-bye.